Hey everybody, Julian here, and welcome to the show. We've got a great show for you tonight. In today's video, I will tell you such shocking facts that very few people know. So let's start our countdown. Alright, so, guns. Not exactly a laugh riot, are they? But how they work is actually pretty fascinating. So you've got your bullet, right, and it's just sitting there in the chamber minding its own business until, bam. The firing pin gives it a little love tap, setting off the gunpowder inside. And let me tell you, that gunpowder is not messing around. It explodes, creating a whole bunch of hot gas, which has nowhere to go but push that bullet out of the barrel with incredible force. We're talking thousands of kilometers per hour. Now this next part is important. Some folks out there, and I'm not naming any names, but let's just say they're in a festive mood, maybe a wedding or something. They get the bright idea to fire their gun in the air like a bunch of yahoos. They think, hey, what's the harm, right? It's not like I'm aiming at anything. But here's the thing, folks. What goes up must come down. And that bullet comes down with just as much force as it went up. That's basic physics, people. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am a mosquito magnet. Those little bloodsuckers love me. Meanwhile, my wife, she could be standing right next to me and they wouldn't touch her. It's like they have a sixth sense for who's tastier. So for years I thought it was because I had sweeter blood or something. You know, like, oh, Jimmy's blood is like a fine Cabernet to these mosquitoes. But it turns out that's just an old wives' tale. The real reason those little vampires prefer some of us over others is all down to body temperature and bacteria. That's right, bacteria. Apparently, we all have different types and amounts of bacteria living on our skin. And mosquitoes are particularly attracted to certain kinds. It's like a buffet for them. And if you're a sweaty Betty like me, well, that's like ringing the dinner bell for those little guys. This one time, I was making my famous guacamole, and let me tell you, it is famous. And I got a little carried away with the cayenne pepper. Next thing I know, I'm sneezing like a maniac. Turns out there's actually a scientific reason for that. Our noses are pretty amazing when you think about it. They're not just for smelling, they're also our first line of defense against all sorts of nasty stuff in the air. So when you get a whiff of something strong, like spices, your nose goes into overdrive. It's like, hold on a minute, what is this? Could be dangerous. And just to be safe, it triggers a sneeze reflex. That powerful blast of air is your body's way of expelling any potential irritants. It's like a tiny little security system up your nose. Chapter 4. Why you can't smile in passport photos. Okay, this one always bugged me. You go to get your passport photo taken and they're all no smiling, neutral expression, and you're stuck there looking like you just got audited by the IRS. But there's actually a good reason for this rule, and it has to do with those fancy microchips they embed in passports these days. See, those chips hold all sorts of personal information about you, including biometric data from your face. And I'm not talking about whether you have a good side or not, I'm talking about the precise measurements of your facial features, the distance between your eyes, the width of your nose, all that fun stuff. How touchscreens work. We use touchscreens every day, but have you ever stopped to think about how they actually work? I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing when you really think about it. It's all about electricity, baby. Beneath the surface of your phone's screen, there's a grid of tiny sensors that are constantly emitting a weak electrical field. When you touch the screen with your finger, bam, you disrupt that field. Your finger acts like a conductor, creating a tiny change in the electrical current. The sensors detect that change and instantly relay the location of your touch to the phone's processor. How a plaster grinder works. So, picture this. You're a doctor, and you need to remove a cast from a patient's arm. Now you could try to saw through that thing with a hacksaw, but that would be, well, messy, and probably pretty painful for the patient. That's where the plaster grinder comes in. It's got this wicked-looking blade that spins really fast, but here's the crazy part. It doesn't actually get hot. Why? Because it vibrates instead of rotating. Those vibrations are what break down the plaster, not friction. It's like magic, but with more science. How bulletproof vests work. All right, folks, let's talk about bulletproof vests. These things are lifesavers, literally. They're made of layers upon layers of super strong fibers, often Kevlar, that are tightly woven together to create a barrier that's incredibly tough to penetrate. When a bullet hits the vest, those fibers absorb and disperse the impact energy, spreading it out over a wider area. This slows the bullet down dramatically, ideally stopping it in its tracks before it can reach the wearer's body. So there you have it, folks, some shocking facts that you probably didn't know. This is what we know. What do you know? And this is me, Julian, signing off. Stay tuned with us for more informative videos like this. Bye and have a great day.